Mic check one two, mic check one two three. Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Andre, and welcome to our very first episode of Drei Talks in 2025. As always, I have this big wave of anxiety coming at me whenever I start to think of what I should be doing for this podcast. And if you'll notice, this is our very first video podcast episode. I'm not sure if that's the correct way to say that, but yeah, I finally have this camera, this handy dandy camera that's a lot easier to record with, which comes with this microphone. So, yeah, that's that. Anyway, I have long been thinking of what I should be talking about with you guys in this podcast, and I actually have a long list of topics that I want to talk about, but I want to start 2025 with a topic that's a little easier to talk about and comes naturally to me, which is taking care of the skin, particularly my face. I don't know. Kasi nga naman may skin tayo all over. I am not at all prepared for this. I did not write the script at all. I just have been thinking about this topic for at least 5 days now. So, hence the blabbering that you guys are listening to. Speaking of which, I hope I get to upload this on YouTube as well. But for now, yeah, I would say I would be able to, or it should be on YouTube. So please, if you have not yet, subscribe to the Dre Talks podcast here in Spotify or here in YouTube, whichever floats your boat. A little bit of background. I am quite lazy, and for context, when I say lazy, having several steps in taking care of myself does not work or rarely works for me. I'm not knocking at anyone's skincare routine at all. I mean, if you're able to do that, then great. I have the highest respect for you and complete admiration because I know it's not easy to do and it takes a lot of work. And again, if it works for you, kumbaya, I'm so happy. For me though, I lose interest. Sige na nga, enough excuses. Tinatamad ako. I get lazy when I have to follow several steps. So that's one preface that I have for this topic. Second is that for me, my definition of good skin, I would say for the lack of a better term, is one that is clean, malinis. And doesn't matter. I mean, here in the Philippines, where I'm recording this from, where I am from, um, there is such a pining for white skin or lighter skin tone. That is not what I would consider, or what I'm trying to say is, it doesn't matter for me if we have dark skin or lighter skin tone. All that matters for me, the biggest goal for me is to have clear skin, and that's what I'm hopefully gonna get at for this episode. So, like I said earlier, first episode with a video on and no script at all, no guide or whatsoever. So please bear with me. A little bit of backstory, I guess. My dad, may God rest his soul, grew up with huge pimples on his face. I think cystic pimples is what you would consider them. And so when I started being a little more conscious with how I look, which to be honest was in college, this is the time when I started paying more attention to I how I take care of my skin, of my face particularly. One of the first steps that I took on when I was 16 years old is to be very aware of how I use my panyo. What's panyo in English? My handkerchief. So mga karuso, ayan. If your panyo back in the day is karuso, matanda na tayo. Hello. Turning 40 really soon. Anyway, so when I was in college, going back, I don't know where I read this from. I forget. But the article said, magazine pa nung panahon namin. What the magazine said was to avoid pimples, you need to not be wiping your face with anything that has been contaminated or anything that's dirty. And practically, since I would take the bus of my first year of college, they did not give me a car just yet. I would take the bus, and ito yung baliwag transit na bus na open talaga, na walang ano, walang walang habas yung flow ng hangin towards your face. So, maalikabok. So naturally, when you go through that commute on your way to school, your first, and it's very humid out here in the Philippines. The first instinct you would have is to wipe your face, and that's perfectly okay. But what I started doing was that if I already wipe my face with this side of the handkerchief of the paño, I would flip it and I would not use that dirty side anymore. That's how it started. Also, this was back in 2000. I forget, basta 16 years old. Every time I would go home, what I would do is I would dunk my face onto a big bowl we had in the kitchen, lukewarm water. I would dunk my face as much as I can tolerate the warm water. And my thinking back then, and even to this day, is that me doing that would allow my pores to open and release whatever dirt they were subjected to that day, and maiiwan siya sa water, and then I would proceed to actually taking a bath, like washing my face with soap and all that. To be fair, it worked. I was able to minimize the chances of me getting pimples back in college. But much like any other teenager out here in the Philippines who are subjected to constant heat, humidity, and alikabok and dust and all that jazz, there still are definitely instances when I would get pimples, but at the very least, minimized. So first two things that I took on to take care of my skin back in the day. I don't do the lukewarm water anymore though. But what I have evolved that handkerchief situation to is paper towels. So I don't carry with me handkerchiefs anymore or panyo. I would carry with me paper towels. So once I blot my face with that particular paper towel, I'd throw it away. I'd reuse it, but I'd flip it and then I'd throw it away eventually. That way, I do not get to mess my face up with the dirty side anymore, or whatever bacteria or dust that dirty side may have. So that's that. Third thing that I took on in taking care of my skin, and this started in college, is the rule that no one is ever to sleep, to sit down, to touch my bed, except for me. And I never go in my bed, let alone sit on it, with outside clothes and or when I have not showered yet. So here's the deal. Our bottoms, they get seated everywhere, and these public places, even my car seat, I would say, isn't the cleanest. So because I sat somewhere else before I would go inside my car. So long story short, madumi. Our outside clothes are quite dirty. So what this means is that I need to be fully showered in fresh, clean clothes before I allow myself in my bed. And this is the time when I was, of course, obviously staying in my parents' house. And I was very particular with my pillowcase being cleaned all the time. I would fluff it. I would put the two pillows that I have together and just bang them up against each other para malinis, para the alikabok would go away. And I had this rule that they have to be changed. My pillowcases, at the very least, need to be changed once a week. The bedspread needs to be changed once every 2 weeks. So there. Already napapagod na ako. Kasabi ko lang tamad ako. But I kid you not, these steps really saved my face from unnecessary pimples. Before I forget, this is how my skin looks like. I'm fresh out of the shower. My hair is still wet, but I had to put this cap on. Otherwise, I'd look like, I don't know, Jimmy Neutron or something. This is my face. I have just put on moisturizer. So this is my moisturizer for the past 3, 4 years. I forget, but this is the only skincare I have at this point. I don't wear sunscreen, which a lot of people are gonna come after me for, but to each his own. And I'm 38 years old. So far, I have laugh lines, which are not the prettiest, but I respect them that they come with age, and which easily means that I laugh a lot, which is very true. So this is the skin. All right, so handkerchiefs, do not use the dirty side anymore. Let's recap. Second is, what did I say? Yeah, cleaning my face at the end of the day by dunking my face onto lukewarm water. And third is making sure that your bed, your pillowcase most especially, are clean all the time, and that no dirty outside clothes are worn inside your clean space. For the record, I have clinical OCD, but that's a different story for a different time. So fast forward, I started working. I noticed that whenever I am subjected to alikabok or dust, the pollution, or especially when people around me would smoke, I would break out. So in a way, my skin was a little more sensitive, I'd say, because I have been staying away from those elements, and when I get subjected to those elements, I just break out. So what I would do when I would get a pimple is that I would use white toothpaste. And again, I know this is very old and this does not work for everyone. So please take all of these tips with a grain of salt. So what I would do is I would dab that emerging pimple with white toothpaste, not tooth gel, because tooth gel is too strong. It's gonna burn your skin, and actually even the toothpaste can possibly can and have already burned my skin once or twice before. But so just a little bit of the white toothpaste, put it onto your pimple, leave it there for say 10-15 minutes, and then wash it off. What that does for me is that it sort of fights the inflammation of the skin. It has, I know it down it this sounds bad, but it sort of burns this that part of the skin, so the pimple goes away sooner. Again, I'm not an expert. I'm just telling you guys what steps have worked for me all these years. And this is the only proof that I have to show you, that I can show you. Oh, by the way, before I forget, I am not delusional. I don't have this illusion in my head that I have perfect skin. For me, perfect skin is has such an immense pressure that I do not need in my life. So I'm very aware that I have large orange peel pores around my cheeks. The reason as to why I know this is because I have mirrors for one. There are always those sales individuals at the middle of the mall who would come up to you and tell you, "Sir, you have large pores. Let's fix that with this product." And I would say, no, I don't have the money for that. And I really don't have the money for those expensive products. And quite seriously, I'm very happy with the skin that I have. Again, the goal is to just have clear skin. I'm very aware and tanggap na tanggap ko na I have pores and that they would be visible at some point. So I don't have this grand plan to have poreless skin, because I live in the Philippines. It's always humid, and again, it is what it is. Those so far, what have I shared with you guys? All right, so handkerchief, lukewarm water, pillowcase, clean pillowcase, white toothpaste for when I have breakouts. So there. Andre, how do you get rid of pimple marks? I find the more moisturized my skin is, the easier it is to be rid of the pimple marks, to regenerate, to restore itself, to heal itself. So what I do is I take pleasure. Again, this is quite controversial and not necessarily popular. I take pleasure in our humid weather. Here's the thing. I did not start wearing or putting on moisturizer until my mid 30s, which is 3 years ago. The reason as to why I went this route is because number one, I did not know of moisturizers before, to be honest, and I don't think I could afford them before. Like, even heck, at 38 years old, this is the only one I'm willing to pay for, and this is 275 Philippine pesos per jar, which lasts me for a month and a half or two. Anyway, sorry, I digress. I have so many chica. So our weather is naturally moisturizing to the skin. It moisturizes our skin quite naturally in such a good way for me. So when I step out of the house, I don't necessarily wear moisturizer anymore because I know I will be my skin will be subjected to humidity, which for me is the most natural way to be moisturized. The only downside is that it makes obviously the heat outside will make your pores a little bigger. So again, that's that. So you win some and then you lose some. So for those of us who might be breaking out, and I have friends who have experienced this, one thing that we took notice was that they may have been breaking out because they were moisturizing while being subjected to the humid weather outside. So overly moisturized skin tends to break out, is what I'm saying. Again, I'm not an expert. I just blab in front of the camera. I'm just sharing whatever works for me with you to you guys. All right. So what else? So I already shared this with you guys. I'm not a big fan of complicated skincare, like I said earlier. And again, that's just me. If it works for you, kumbaya. Very happy for you. But this for me is the holy grail at this point. Next. Oh, so last week I was walking with a friend. There was a group of people hauling sacks and sacks of cement, of concrete cement. Malamang concrete cement. And when that happens, maalikabok. Basta maalikabok. When I am exposed to alikabok, what I do is as soon as I can, I hurry to the washroom, to the nearest washroom. I wash my face. I splash my face with water, and at the very least, I get to do away with whatever sediments, whatever dust might be clogged onto my pores. So, how I think is that every time I'm subjected to dirt, I always think of the possibility of these dirt being clogged onto my pores, and that's one of the things that I avoid. So readily go to the washroom and splash my face with water. Not with soap because I don't think I'd have access to soap, but if I can, I would. Next, if you're a good friend, or if I hang out with you quite often, if you see me, especially in the office, you will know that I always carry with me a a small bottle of alcohol. I'll show you guys. Hang on. We go back to college days, and this article that I read on the magazine, that it said to never touch your face with your hands because your hands are the dirtiest part of your body, which I guess is true because we touch doorknobs, money, and all that. And what saves me is this small spray bottle. So I got this from Miniso for 60 pesos, I think, or 50 pesos. My mom and I have at least three of these each, and we would lose them quite often. So we would buy a ton of these to have them available. So what I do is and this is quite tiny, so this can easily fit in any pocket that I have on me. So what I do is I fill this up before I leave my place. I fill this up with alcohol, J- just generic alcohol, but never ethyl alcohol because ethyl alcohol is too damn strong. It's gonna ruin your hands. Your hands are gonna be dry. Say, I know I'm about to touch my face because it feels itchy somewhere. I would first sanitize my hands before I even touch my face. In fact, I rarely touch my face. I kid you not. The only times of the day I touch my face are when I have to wash it or when I just need to scratch a part of my face because it's itchy as hell that way. One last secret that I have to this acceptable skin, I would say, is your bath towel. I repeat, your bath towel. So I go for bath towels with two different distinct, how should I say this? You know how bath towels would have designs on one side and the other side does not have a design? I like those kind of bath towels because I need to be able to determine which side of my bath towel is for the face and which side of the bath towel is for the body. The reason as to why I do this is to make sure that I don't wipe my face with the side of the bath towel that I would wipe my other parts of the body with. The skin on our face is quite more sensitive as compared to the rest of their body, so it's for that reason and that reason alone. Please make sure you do not place your bath towel on dirty surfaces. Like sometimes I see and I know people who would hang them on, I don't know, a chair, and then that chair is the same chair people would sit on with their outside clothes, and that means nako-contaminate and again dirty surfaces. I know it's over the top, but this is what works for me and has been working for me since I started doing it. And don't forget to change your bath towels once a week. Actually, not once a week. 3 times or yeah, not 3 times, but every 3 days if you can afford to. Only if you can afford to do laundry that much. All right, I'm curious to know. Comment down below what your skincare tips are. What steps you guys take to take better care of your skin. Let's all learn from each other. And if you have any comment at all from any of the things that I blabbered about, your feedback and comments are very much welcome. And like I said earlier, beep beep, bubusina, these things that I shared with you are what works for me. And I'm sure there are some of these steps that may not necessarily work for you or you find a little too much, and that's perfectly okay. I'm not compelling you to do these, but just outright sharing. And again, feel free to share yours with me. This has been Andre for Drei Talks. If you also would like to, please comment down below on what topics you think we can talk about going forward, or if there's a guest speaker that you'd like me to talk to, please recommend, because I really need to get this channel going. Not just for me, but hopefully for our community of normal, everyday people who are simply trying to survive. All right. This has been Andre once again. Thank you so much, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.